Hey, hello, I'm Tunesy. If you couldn't tell by the channel name, of course. Oh my goodness, guys, we're on state freaking 21. uh, what's 9 plus 10? 21. You stupid. No, I not.
Stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
Anyways, yeah, today's day 21. Woohoo, yay! Um, 4 more days, the 25th. If you guys didn't know, the 25th is gonna be halfway through the series. Because 50 videos, 50 days for 50 states. Wait, that was lucky tough. Anyways, yeah. Today's the 21st day of this series, and I'm low key holding on strong. I think I don't know. It's kind of exhausting, but I could deal with it. Um, and I hope um, the hard work pays off somehow. Somehow, some way, somewhere. I hope at least one of them blow up. I mean, I doubt it. I really do, but it's okay. Um. Anyways, today's state is Massachusetts. I thought it was gonna be Mississippi today, but it wasn't. It was Massachusetts. Uh, but yeah, Massachusetts. I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way. I probably have like an accent of the way saying it, but yeah. Today's Massachusetts, and yeah. Um, I'm sure you guys heard of this one before, by the way. But today's song of the day is "Pain Equals Best Friend" by XXXTentacion and Travis Barker. The genre is emo rap, alternative rock, and post-hardcore. Which I forgot X made some rock songs, like 1 minute by him and Kanye, and yeah, um, let's get started right away. Um, Rephrasing myself, by the way, today's state is Massachusetts. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you guys heard this story before. I think it's one of the popular ones. It's kind of like the Lewis Clark murders, um, uh, 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 the Axeman murders, and then also like Jack the Ripper. But yeah, today's freaking crime or murder, I guess, even though all of them has been murders, is about the Boston Strangler. This one's similar to like all the ones I mentioned. I don't think they ever caught the guy, at least from what I know. It's more of like a anonymous person going and killing and strangling people. But I'm gonna do this one a bit different. I'm not gonna specify every victim, as he did do a lot, and also I'm not gonna go through everything he did. I'm just gonna go through the mysterious thing behind it, and also like what he did, of course, and like who he preyed on and stuff like that, and like strangled. But yeah, let's get started. Between June 14th, 1962 and January 4th, 1964, 13 single women between the ages of 19 and 85 were murdered in the Boston area. Most were sexually assaulted and strangled in their apartments. Originally, the police believed that one man was the sole perpetrator. With no sign of forced entry into their homes, the women were assumed to have let their assailant in, either because they may have known him or because they believed him to be a service provider. The attacks continued despite extensive media publicity after the first few murders. Many residents purchased tear gas and new locks and deadbolts for their doors. Some women even moved out of the area in response to the killings. The murders occurred in several cities, including Boston. Edward W. Brooke helped to coordinate the various police forces. He permitted Peter Hurkos to use his alleged extensory perception to analyze the cases, for which Hurkos believed that a single person was responsible. This decision was controversial. Hurkos provided a minutely detailed description of the wrong person, and the press ridiculed Brooke. The police were not convinced that all the murders were the actions of one person, although much of the public believed so. The apparent connections between a majority of the victims and hospitals were widely discussed. The final victim of the murders was Mary Sullivan, who was strangled and raped in her Boston apartment on January 4th, 1964. 3 ligatures were wrapped around her neck, and a broom handle was lodged into her vagina. A card reading "Happy New Year" was left by the killer leaning against her left foot. On October 27th, 1964, a stranger entered a young woman's home, posing as a detective. He tied the victim to her bed, sexually assaulted her, and suddenly left, saying, "I'm sorry," as he went. The woman's description of her attacker led police to identify the assailant as Albert DeSalvo. When his photo was published, many women identified him as a man who had assaulted them. Earlier, on October 27th, DeSalvo had posed as a motorist with car trouble and attempted to enter a home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. The homeowner, Richard Sproul's, became suspicious and eventually fired a gunshot at DeSalvo. DeSalvo was not initially suspected of being involved with the strangling murders. After, he was charged with rape. He gave a detailed confession as his activities as the Boston Strangler. He initially confessed to George Nassar. Nassar reported the confession to his attorney F. Lee Bailey, who also took on the defense of DeSalvo. The police were impressed at the accuracy of DeSalvo's descriptions of the crime scenes. There were some wrongs, but DeSalvo was able to cite details that had been withheld from the public. Bailey states in his 1971 book, The Defense Never Rests, that DeSalvo got one detail right that one of the victims was wrong about. DeSalvo described a blue chair in the woman's living room. She stated it was brown. DeSalvo was sentenced to life in prison in 1967. In February of that year, he escaped with 2 inmates from Bridgewater State Hospital, triggering a full-scale manhunt. A note was found on his bunk addressed to the superintendent. In it, DeSalvo stated that he had escaped to focus attention on the conditions in the hospital and his own situation. Immediately after his escape, DeSalvo disguised himself as a U.S. Navy petty officer, 3rd class, but he gave himself up the following day. After the escape, he was transferred to the maximum security Walpole State Prison. 6 years after the transfer, he was found stabbed in the prison infirmary. His killer or killers were not identified. On July 11th, 2013, the Boston Police Department announced that they had found DNA evidence that linked DeSalvo to the murder of Mary Savolian. DNA found at the scene was a near certain match to Y DNA taken from a nephew of DeSalvo. A court ordered the examination of DeSalvo's corpse to test his DNA directly. On July 19th, 2013, Suffolk County District Attorney Daniel F. Conley, Massachusetts Attorney General Martha Coakley, and Boston Police Commissioner Edward F. Davis announced the DNA test results proving that DeSalvo was a source of seminal fluid recovered at the scene of Solovian's 1964 murder. Oh my gosh. Jeez. That one was, not gonna lie, hard to read and hard to do research on. This one's crazy, not gonna lie. The Boston Strangler, wow, Massachusetts. Jeez. Um, but that's the end of today's video. Um, so I'm not quite sure if they figure out DeSalvo was actually the murderer of the Boston Strangler, like if he was the Boston Strangler, or if he was just, the main murder of Mary Solovian's murder. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I mean, they did find Mary Solovian's murder, which that one's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie, the way that he did it, that's disgusting. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And yeah, day 22 tomorrow, so keep a lookout for that one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love every single one of you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.